Tonight, Whyalla households brace for a rate rise, but a lot of gain for that pain. And a new Aussie mateship campaign devised by Lifeline Broken Hill.
This is Southern Cross News with Alison Drower.
Hello and thanks for joining us tonight. Also a little later, our footy tipsters with a look at this weekend's round. But first, the mayors from the Upper Spencer Gulf are working out how to ensure that they get their fair share of around $15 million in federal funding to create a regional study hub for local university students.
Up for grabs is a study hub which will help higher education students with their studies. And with hopes to retain young professionals in the region, the Upper Spencer Gulf mayors are going hard at the ball.
If we can provide these courses locally with that local support, I think it will be a great benefit to keeping young people in regional areas.
We need to be able to educate our children locally, our people locally. It costs more and more to send them away to Adelaide or other places to study. This is a great advantage for people to be able to do it in our communities.
The federal government announced the allocation in the latest budget, but are yet to decide who will be awarded the hubs.
A lot of very, very valuable time and effort has gone into making the best case we can to make sure we get that support locally in the three regional Spencer Gulf cities.
But with the support from the local member, the mayors are confident the region will be in the mix.
Well, certainly I've been raising the possibility of making sure that we get one of those into South Australia. If we're going to have one in South Australia, let's have it in Upper Spencer Gulf.
The Upper Spencer Gulf mayors stressed the new hub wouldn't take away from existing higher education, but it would simply enhance it. Students would have access to more facilities and one-on-one support.
Yes, they'll be able to have all their online content as they have before, but at least they'll have that localised help that is vital to getting kids all the way through their courses.
To have something like this, to pull it together, will be a great asset for them and for the communities.
Keziah Sullivan, Southern Cross News.
Whyalla households can expect a note from Council in coming months advising of a rate rise of just under 2%. Council has released details on its new budget.
After months of hard work, Council is now ready to reveal how it will spend ratepayers' money, and the key motivator is a plan to revitalise the city.
And they're looking to balance, I guess, affordability for the ratepayer and then balancing the service that they can provide.
Rates will rise by 1.9%, and Mr Cowley says the minimal increase will ensure services remain strong.
On an average rate, it equates to about $30 a year. They could raise sufficient funds to continue providing value for money service.
On the positive, there'll be no change to what Council charges for waste removal, and it will no longer charge boat owners a fee for launching at the marina.
To be able to remove the fees totally is a great outcome for the community. It's about encouraging people to use the facility.
Over $400,000 will be spent on playground upgrades, with $2 million to be spent on resealing roads.
To keep them in a good condition so that they don't deteriorate and they continue to provide a high level of service to our community.
And tourism is another big focus, with Council to hire an events development officer to capture our share of the tourism market.
That's going to cost about $80,000. And their role will be to develop fledgling events and create new events to bring not only locals but tourists to our community.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Changes to penalty rates for weekend workers is going to hit hardest in regions like the Iron Triangle. A new report has found shift workers in the seat of Grey will lose more than $14.5 million, as Amelia Simpson reports.
More cash for businesses, less for those who work on weekends. A recent report shows the money businesses will be saving from paying lower penalty rates will most likely not stay in the regions.
Penalty rate cuts, as we already know, are going to have a disproportionate effect on regional communities across South Australia. And in particular, we've seen some really troubling figures coming out of the seat of Grey, which encompasses areas like the Iron Triangle.
For the average shift worker on a weekend, they'll be taking home around $2,400 less a year, and that's not good for the local economy.
That means a lot for the regional communities. It means less at the local shop, less at the local pub, less at the local deli. It's just not correct to say that a dollar taken out of the pocket of a worker is a dollar more that can be spent on employment.
However, local cafe owner Mary says she believes the penalty rate cuts could directly benefit local business.
There is potential then to open on public holidays and on weekends or Sundays as well.
The changes will take place from the 1st of July and employees are being urged to consult their bosses on how their salaries will be affected. However, the union is urging local businesses to continue paying their employees at the higher rate.
So if businesses can and should stand up and back their local communities, back the wages, because it's going to be rewarded.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
A new campaign by Lifeline in Broken Hill is encouraging more blokes to look out for each other when it comes to all things related to their well-being. The How's Your Mate campaign is the first of its kind in Australia.
They say it takes a lot for Aussie blokes to say how they really feel. And Lifeline knows too well, sometimes it can be too late.
The facts is 3 out of the 4 people that die through suicide each day are guys. So really it is time that we start looking at specific initiatives and campaigns specifically targeting men and men's health.
The How's Your Mate idea is to get blokes to start thinking about reaching out to a trusted circle if they need support. Miss Ortega says there can be a stigma when it comes to men addressing their health, especially mental and social.
The whole idea of the campaign is to make it easier for men to now start asking each other, how are you? How's you going, mate? You know, so therefore, how's your mate?
The campaign has found sponsorship in a newcomer to Broken Hill, the Australis Roofing Company. It didn't hesitate to jump on board and donate more than $11,000. The money will go toward promoting the campaign for its launch in the coming months.
Being roofing trade and in the trade in general with lots of things, the whole idea was very safety based, and anything we can do to help our guys safety wise, not only on the job but in their home lives and lives in general, is going to help us out, and if we can help the community at the same time, it's a great thing.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
Still ahead on Southern Cross News, overcoming the fear of a diagnosis of Parkinson's. Welcome back. Well, finding that you or a family member has Parkinson's disease can be a scary experience. And today, Whyalla residents have gathered to look at starting their own support group.
When Peter Atkinson was diagnosed with Parkinson's 14 years ago, he says he felt scared about what was going to happen next.
Very alone. You worry about what's going to happen in the future.
Peter and others who live with the illness in Whyalla gathered today to learn about Parkinson's and the services available to them. It's also hoped a local support association will now be formed so they can work through the symptoms of the disease as a unit.
People with Parkinson's want questions and answers. We can get them to come along to the monthly meetings and just explain.
Parkinson's affects both motor and non-motor systems of the body, along with the infamous tremor. It also causes speech impediment, memory issues and fatigue. But Peter says it can be managed, and having a strong mental and physical lifestyle is the key.
And if you can sweep the path or something like that, or wash a dish or something like that, it's something that's keeping your mind off it.
Peter himself makes delicate wood carvings, something doctors couldn't believe he was able to do. And he hopes everyone who turned up to the session will go home knowing they can still live a positive lifestyle.
I like to, today or tomorrow, and that has helped me to control this better.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
One of Port Augusta's most beautiful national parks is in the midst of a managerial transition, with traditional landowners and the state government promising to protect Ikura Flinders Ranges region.
A new management plan has been approved for the Ikura Flinders Ranges National Park north of Port Augusta, and it's the first time it's changed since 1989.
These days, with co-management with the traditional owners, there's a strong indication and presence of culture in the plans and also out on the parks.
Mr McGaw says the new plan will attract people to the area.
There's a new government directions with nature-based tourism, so the plan actually not only sort of talks about what can do recreational-wise, but there's also what people can come and learn about Adnyamathanha culture.
Ikura means a meeting place, and traditional owners who co-manage the Ikura Flinders Ranges National Park hope it will be that and more.
So it's fantastic to know and to read and actually be involved that Adyamatna culture is woven right throughout the management plan.
Mr McGaw says tourists visiting the park for a cultural experience will visit regional towns like Port Augusta, Port Pirie and Whyalla on the way.
Bringing them to the area will also bring them through the other areas as well, so there's a flow-on benefit from beyond the park and the region to other places in the state.
Come with open minds and open hearts and come to learn and soak up the spirituality and the tranquility of all what Ikura National Park has to offer.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Meantime, Whyalla has marked the start of National Reconciliation Week with a flag-raising ceremony at the foreshore today. It is 50 years since reconciliation laws were recognised, and today local Indigenous groups invited hundreds of school kids to mark the occasion. Mayor Lynn Brewer led the ceremony, speaking of the suffering that Indigenous people faced prior to 1967. The Aussie flag raised alongside that of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders flag to mark a symbol of unity. Well, if you've got a great idea for something that could benefit the York Mid-North community, time is running out to make a submission to the Fund My Idea Awards.
With only days left, the Regional Development Minister is urging the public to get voting.
There's been 8 nominations across all of the regions where the councils were involved from the last country cabinet. The closing finishes on Monday at 5 p.m, the 29th.
Mr Brock says the program is all about giving the community a say in where they want the money to be spent.
It's up to $50,000 for a total. It doesn't mean to say that there's only one winner. In some cases there's been 2 winners and there have been $25,000 each, or $30,020.
Several community groups have chucked their names in the ring, and now their fate is in the hands of the community.
So they've taken the chance, they've taken the time. Now I'm asking people to support those people and get on at Your Say website, vote for them and help them out.
The ideas range from historic murals on the Kadina Water Tower to sports equipment for the over 50s community on the York Peninsula.
Certainly there's some fantastic nominations out there. There's a skate park suggested for Riverton.
The Fund My Idea campaign was created through Mr Brock and his initiative to bring cabinet ministers to the region.
All the nominations are there. This has got to go through and register. You've got to go in there and register. But certainly, look, you can nominate for one, nominate for more than one if you want to.
A link to the voting website can be found on our Facebook page. Keziah Sullivan, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us on Southern Cross News. After the break, our fabulous footy tipsters and who they rate as standouts for this weekend's rounds. Well, sports fans heading to Centenary Oval in Port Lincoln will no longer be able to smoke on the sidelines or anywhere else on the grounds, as Jason Kemp reports.
A case of drilling the message into the community. Centenary Oval will enforce a permanent smoke-free zone from this weekend.
Families and patrons can be feeling quite safe and comfortable there and not worrying about smoking there.
Signs are now in place advising of the change, and the local league happy to defend its decision to bag the fag.
We just hope that all patrons acknowledge that and respect how other people feel standing around smokers.
This weekend will also see clubs reinforcing their commitment to the White Ribbon campaign against domestic violence.
They've had some ambassadors go to all the clubs. We'll be using a white ball this year, this game, and also the players will be wearing the white armband too.
Centenary Oval has been granted a new liquor licence as part of the league's plan to be able to offer new corporate packages for the big games on the calendar.
It just means that we don't have to remember, oops, Mortlock Shield's coming up, I've got to put in a licence, etc, etc. We've just got it now and all the paperwork's done for the year.
The highly anticipated Shield is only weeks away. Eastern Air and the EP Sharks already tipped as early favourites.
You hear rumours about who's going to be playing for the EP Sharks, so I have no idea. I just hope that everyone has a great time.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Well, it is the weekend. That means footy for a lot of people. So let's go over to our experts for their weekly footy tips.
Hello and welcome to another round of SGL football. This round starts with Port making their first trip to Port Augusta to face Central on Saturday. Port sit at 2 wins and 2 losses and we're looking to secure another win in this one. Centrals are yet to register a win this season and will find it hard on Saturday. I'm tipping Port. The other Saturday match sees Solies take on West in Port Pirie. West are yet to lose a match this season and will look to continue their unbeaten run. I'm tipping West. Sunday in Pirie, it's the Lions that face South. The Lions broke through for their first win of the season last week and will be looking to make it 2 in a row. South have been inconsistent this year but had a big win last week over Sully and will look to use that win as a catalyst for their season. I'm tipping South.
Welcome to round 5 of Whyalla football. Gets underway on Saturday at Bennett Oval. Central Whyalla versus Roona Bay. Both teams had big losses last week, but I can really see Centrals being in the top 3 of the ladder come the end of the season, and they should win easily. Saturday's game at Memorial Oval, Rapina versus West Whyalla. Roos won their first game of the year last week and promptly went from bottom of the ladder into the top 4, but they take on top team West, and West should win this one. And finally on Sunday at Bennett Oval, it's North Whyalla versus South Whyalla. South can't take a trick at the moment. They've gone to the bottom of the ladder, only won the one match, struggling with injury, whereas North, on the other hand, going very well, strength to strength, and Magpies should win this comfortably.
Welcome to Port Lincoln Football Tips and White Ribbon Round. We kick off the weekend with match of the round with Lincoln South taking on Marble Range at Centenary Oval. Lincoln South have some quality ins into the team, but Marble Range defence is going to be quite strong. I'm tipping this one to go either way, but Marble Range by 10 points. In the next game, we see Tasmans taking on Mallee Park. Mallee Park don't lose too many games, especially at home. I'm tipping Mallee Park to win this one convincingly. In the last game, we see Waybacks heading to Poole Oval to take on Bostons. Waybacks had a good win last round and have come out firing. I'm tipping them to win this one by 5 goals.
Round 8 in Broken Hill football this week sees South take on West. West are yet to win a game this year. South are up and about and they'll be easy victors on the day. Second game, Central's taking on North. North are a very strong side. Central's undoubtedly can win on the day if they've got good players. This will be match of the round. I reckon it'll be the Magpies by 5 to 10 points.
And Broken Hill's Isaac Cumming may finally make his AFL debut this Sunday after the Greater Western Sydney club named him in its extended squad for the trip to Perth against West Coast. 18-year-old Isaac used to play for North Broken Hill and was picked 20 in last year's draft after the Giants matched a bid by the Sydney Swans. OK, stay with us. A change is on the way. We will have your weekend weather outlook next on Southern Cross News. Well, quite a stunning day right across our region with maximums of around 21 or 22 degrees. Port Lincoln today seeing a lot more blue sky than it has for the rest of this week, and Port Pirie aimed for a sunny 19 degrees. On the satellite, there is a cold front coming across the bight towards the Gulf, bringing patchy cloud, but it won't generate a lot of rain. Skies are generally clear for the rest of the country. On the water tomorrow, winds will be up to 15 knots from the northeast to northwest, seas up to 1.5 metres. It is a new moon tomorrow, with those days getting shorter, and sunrise will be at 7:12 and sunset at 5:20. Tomorrow we are going to get a mostly sunny Saturday before a week change arrives that will see a few showers for Coffin Bay, Port Pirie, Clare and Kadina, but temps staying nice and mild with a balmy 23 for Port Augusta and Whyalla tomorrow. To the 4-day outlooks now as we prepare to welcome in winter on Monday. Temps will start to drop off after Saturday's change and mainly fine conditions for Port Lincoln through Tuesday. Cleve might see a shower into Sunday and then again on Monday, and Woodner mainly fine for your weekend. A similar weather pattern for Whyalla and Port Augusta, temps dropping back to 18 on Sunday, and Kadina will also ease into winter with a clearing shower for Monday. The next 4 days for Port Pirie will see cloud arriving late Saturday for a cooler but mainly fine Sunday, and Clare definitely needing the heater on Sunday for 13 degrees and 14 on Monday. Broken Hill's magic run of 20-something weather comes to an end on Sunday with much cooler conditions into the new week. So enjoy what is left of autumn, and don't forget that you can keep up to date via our Facebook and Twitter pages, and Southern Cross News can now be found on its very own YouTube channel. That is all from the team here at Southern Cross. I'm Alison Drower and hope to have your company again next Monday at 6:30. But for now, have a great night and enjoy the weekend.